Hi guys, it's me, Rena from Snailworks Crochet, and in today's video, I'm going to be stash busting. However, I also wanted to do a Fate the Dice Saga episode along with stash busting, and I also really wanted to play with the Granny Square card deck I recently got, so it's kind of a mixture of all three together. 3 ideas in one video. I have already picked out the yarn I want to use for this video, and it is this Bernat Bundle Up yarn. I have about 6-ish colors, and I'm thinking of just rolling a regular dice to pick my colors. I have also pre-shuffled the cards in this deck. So basically I will draw a card, see how many colors is on that card, and then roll dice to pick the colors and make that granny square. And I intend to do this until I run out of yarn, because I don't really know how many squares that will net out for me. And I have a couple of replacement colors of similar yarn in case I run out of one color but not the other. And also this is a chance for me to use some of the scraps I have, because I have a lot of scraps of this type of yarn in general. Let me show you the colors I have. So here I have a lot of scraps of this yellow, a lot of scraps of this purple, this blue, I also have this blue, I have this like blue-green color, this pink color, and this bright white color. And the extra colors I have of this type of yarn include this gray, black, and a ton of off-white. Now in previous dice videos, I rolled a d20, but this time I actually just want to roll a regular 6-sided die right here, and then I'm going to assign the colors. So I'm going to assign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are going to be the colors I start with. I picked this one as 3 because numbers 3 and 4 are most likely to get rolled in a dice roll. So once this runs out, I will replace it with this purple, and then once that runs out, I'll replace it with like the gray and so on. And again, the goal of this is to get rid of the yarn. Now, unfortunately with these cards, they're double-sided, so it makes it very obvious which card I'm drawing. So I am going to first reveal the card, and then I will pick the colors. The first card is this Mittered Granny Square. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. I'm going to roll 4 numbers, but I'm also going to make sure I don't have repeat numbers. So first roll will be 3. 2, 5, 6. Okay. I have my 4 colors. I am going to go make the square. Okay, first square done. It's fine. I like the color scheme, but I will say this yarn isn't really the best for granny squares, but here I am. Now let's pick the next granny square, which is a plain solid granny square. That's kind of boring, but whatever. I will roll the dice for just one color now. 5, which is this color. In case you're wondering, why do I have this specific yarn in general? I will tell you the reason why. When I first started crocheting, I was looking for baby yarn, and I thought the baby yarn was incredibly soft. So I picked up a couple of colors, which are those yellow and purple colors that you see, and I made a baby blanket out of it. Cool, love that. The reason I have a lot of the off-white color is because I actually used that off-white color to make my Taylor Swift cardigan for my sister about a year ago. And then for these other colors, later on, I was trying to think of, items I would like to sell if I were to ever like open up an Etsy store. And one idea I played around with was amigurumi, because everyone and their mom is doing amigurumi at this point. So I was toying around with it, and one of the amigurumi things I did enjoy making, I think I made an amigurumi keychain with some scraps of my purple yarn. It was this really cute octopus. I think of all the yarns I played around making smaller amigurumi with, I like that one over like basic worsted weight acrylic. So I thought, oh, maybe I can make itty bitty amigurumi keychains with this baby yarn. So I hit up Joann's when they were clearing out this yarn, and I bought a couple of skeins on clearance, and I was thinking, oh, I will probably make some amigurumi later. Did not do that. So now I have this baby yarn where I don't really know what to do with, and so now I am using it to make granny squares. So that is the reason why I have this specific type of baby yarn. I will say it's kind of like a tube yarn, and it's also very soft to the touch. I haven't tried knitting with it, but crocheting with it, it's definitely softer than your average worsted weight acrylic. This video will probably take me quite a bit of time to do, because I do actually want to try filming every single dice roll and every single granny square. I probably won't film like every single crochet montage of me making the granny square, but I definitely want to film like all the granny squares. So we'll see how this works out. Originally, my goal was to use up all of this yarn for the dice rolling thing. We'll see how much I end up making. I don't know what will come first, me using up all of my yarn or me making 50 granny squares. Regardless, I think it will take quite a while, because most of these, minus the open scraps, are basically unopened skeins of yarn. So we'll have some fun here. You know, originally I was thinking of maybe doing a join as you go granny square with this too, but I don't know, I'm debating, because I actually don't know what the dimensions of this will be. I was kind of debating on like what my end goal of how many squares I would make would be, and if I would need some filler squares. And I prefer to do join as you go joining for granny square projects, but I don't think it's gonna work out for this specific project, which kind of upsets me, because that means I'm gonna have to physically sew all of the granny squares together, and that will be very irritating. On the bright side, at least with the granny square deck, I will have like equal stitches on all 4 sides. So I think that will help. I always pick like really long projects to do these Fate the Dice Saga projects, but it is what it is. Okay, I have my second square done. Here are the 2 squares that I have made so far. Should I just start like putting them together now? Just sewing them together and seeing what happens, or should I wait to rearrange them and put them together? I don't know. We'll see. Third square is this one right here, which is just a regular granny square, but with 2 colors. So let's roll the 2 colors. 5 and 1. Look at that right here. We got a granny square. We love, we stan. Okay, so the next granny square reveal is this one. I don't know if I'm getting unlucky or if I'm a little bit bored of these granny squares. Or maybe this just doesn't have as many as I anticipated. Maybe I just shuffled wrong, but this is basically the same as this one, except with the solid granny square instead of the regular granny square. So let me roll the colors now. 5, 2, We got, here we go, next granny square. So let's do the next reveal. Oh, finally, we got something cool. So that is 4 colors. So I need to roll 4 colors. And I'm going to make sure that I don't repeat any of these colors. So first color, 3. Second color, 4. Third color, 5. Fourth color, 5, let me re-roll that. Fourth color, let me re-roll that. Fourth color, 2. Granny square right here, it's cute. This one was a little different because I actually looked at the pattern for this one and realized that the written pattern asks you to put spaces in between all the granny square clusters and do 3 chains in the corner. I ignored that and just kind of did it as I normally would, where I just have no spaces in between clusters and 2 chains in the corner. Mainly because I was doing all of the solid and the regular granny squares the way I normally do them. So yeah. But let's do the next reveal, which is this square, and it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. So that is 4 colors again. So let's roll the 4 colors. 2. Okay. 5. 4. And 3. So similar color palette to last time, just rearranged in different ways and also a different square. We got this square done. It looks pretty cool. It's definitely interesting. I had never done it before. I am not sure how I feel about this color combo, but whatever. Next square. Okay. So this is another fun square, and this has 5 colors. So we will be rolling 5 and no repeats. So 2, 1, 5, 4, one more, either 3 or 6. 4 again, 6. Square completed. Next square is this one. And there is 5 colors again. So let's roll for the 5 colors. 3, 4. Let's roll that again. 2. 5. One more color. 6. Here is the finished square. It looks pretty cool. Time to roll the next set of colors. So the next square is this one, which is 2 colors. So 2 rolls, 3, and then 6. So I did some thinking on where I want my stopping point to be for this video, and I have determined it will be when I run out of both the yellow color and the purple color. So I'm pretty close to running out of the yellow color right now. And then when I run out of this color, I will replace it with this color. And then when I run out of this color, that's when I will call it quits on dice rolls. And I think that's an appropriate stopping point. I think I'll get a decent amount of squares out of it. I don't think I'll ever get enough for a blanket, but maybe this can be like a growing thing I do. I had to switch the order because I was pretty sure I did not have enough yellow on that third row. So for this one, I'm probably just going to use this yellow color as the middle because I don't know how much of this I have left to do any other row. For this next square, I already just decided to do the middle part because I really wanted to use up this yellow yarn, and this is all I got left of it. I finished this square, and I can officially say that I never want to do this square again. But if you noticed, I ran out of yellow yarn, so I have replaced it with this lilac yarn that I had as a scrap. And as I said earlier in the video, when I run out of this yarn, that is when I will conclude this video. So I saw a Passionate Kelsey video where she talks about this Granny Square card deck, and she said that the cards give off coaster vibes, and she's kind of right, honestly. So I now have about this much purple left. I think I'm just going to use this for the center color for this, and then roll the other 3 colors, and I'll call it quits for the squares. Okay, I finished the very last square using up all my purple, and now I'm at a good stopping point. I did a quick count of all of the squares I made, and I have 28, which is good. That's a good number, I think. So I think I'm going to put these all together into a baby blanket. So with 28, I might make an extra couple. I'm gonna go ahead, lie it out, and see if I can get away with making a baby blanket, and then I'll connect them that way. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm like almost done stitching together all the granny squares, and it looks super cool. However, I'm now looking at the size of this and realizing that this is not big enough to be a baby blanket. And even if I add a border, it's still not big enough. I have a couple of ideas of how to make this bigger that don't involve making more granny squares. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do a part 2 of this video where I roll for colors to do more border detailing, because I just need to map out what those ideas are going to be. And yeah, but I'm going to finish the last part of stitching this together, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I have finished stitching all these together. Honestly, this looks really cool. This looks super cool, honestly. I kind of like it a lot. Just all the colors and everything. I will be releasing a part 2 some point, not now, mainly because I need to think about what I actually want to do with the blanket and what border I want to do. I have a couple of ideas, but I haven't thought deeply about it yet. Hey guys, as I was editing, I completely forgot that I forgot to film my thoughts on the Granny Square card deck, so let me go over that real quick. So for the Granny Square card deck, it's fine. I'm really glad I decided to shuffle up the cards for this video, because I think if I hadn't, I would have been making the same square over and over and over again, just in different colors, which is not as exciting. I think overall it's really cool. I was primarily following the stitch chart that they have on the back of each of the cards. I thought that was really nice, and it had a little booklet in there explaining some of the stitches in case the stitch chart wasn't clear enough, so I thought that was nice. I did think all the designs were really cool. There were definitely a lot of granny squares I had never made in my life. The designs towards the end of the deck were really cool, but the first half of cards at the beginning of the deck were literally the same square over and over again. And I hate that. Regardless, I think it's really cool. There are definitely a lot of designs you can take inspiration from, and I think that's really nice. And the nicest thing is that all the stitches match up. If you actually follow the pattern that is written, each of the squares has an equal amount of stitches to each other, so that way when you're seaming it up, it'll be easy for you. For the basic granny squares, I actually didn't follow their pattern. So I did have a couple of stitches not line up, but I would say for the most part, even when I was doing my granny squares my way versus the way it was written on that deck, the stitches still line up with each other for some of the other ones. The only modification I did personally was that all the corner spaces had 2 stitches instead of 3 stitches. And for my standard granny square pattern, I was just doing 2 stitches in each of the corners and not doing the chain in between the clusters. Everything matched up as I was sewing everything together, so that's pretty nice. I think if anything, that's probably the biggest pro of that card deck, is that there's so many different granny squares that you can mix and match all these granny squares and the stitches will line up. That, in my opinion, is the coolest part of the deck. Those are my overall thoughts. But I will be concluding my video here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, leave a comment or like the video. And I hope you guys have a nice day. Bye!